Well, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? So today, I know it's Friday, and usually I do my Q&As and I do some off the beat videos, but I'm like, you know what, I am way too tired. I just came from LA, had some work to do, and so I just want to take care of this video for this weekend. And I know how many people are desperately waiting for 9th Lord in the 7th house. So today we're going to cover 9th Lord in the 7th house and what happens when the planet that is controlling your 9th house in your horoscope is sitting in the 7th house. And again, if you do not know where your 9th Lord is placed, where your other planetary lords are placed, for that check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, that come free with the report. So, 9th house. What is 9th house? 9th house represents law. 9th house represents your higher belief, philosophical belief, spiritual belief, religious beliefs, your gurus, teachings of your father. It represents long distance journey. It represents going abroad for education. It represents post-grad education like MBA, PhD, doctorate, any post-grad degree is seen by the 9th house. And so what happens when this planet is sitting in the 7th house? Well, what is the 7th house? 7th house represents marriage, business, spouse, other people, whoever you meet. Somebody can come here, get naked and say, I want your autograph. I'm like, okay, sure. That's 7th house people. And yeah, I run into those quite a bit. Lunatics. So, when 9th Lord goes into the 7th house, what this shows is that you are, because now your 9th house is coming in the 7th house, showing that your belief system, your spiritual, religious, and philosophical beliefs are coming in the marriage. You want to bring certain laws into the marriage. You want to bring certain philosophy into the marriage. And as much as this is a good position, this position can become a really bad position in like that. Let's say you are a hardcore Hindu. You somehow marry a American woman, white woman. And you're like, lady, you're going to go to the temple with me every day. You're going to do all the Purnima Puja, Karva Chauth, this Chauth, every Chauth. And you're like, you better do this because this is what I bring to the marriage. And you watch her book her next flight home like that. So you got to watch out for that. People bring too many of their 9th house baggage into the 7th house. These are the people who control the masses through their belief system. You will find these people who have a certain agenda, certain spiritual agenda, philosophical agenda, religious agenda, and they want to bring it to the masses. Like a religious guru wanting to just change the entire society, whether for the good or better, that depends upon the person's opinion, but they want to do that. They want to bring a philosophical belief to the masses. This shows that you want a spouse who will take pilgrimages with you, who will go to traveling with you. That's the kind of spouse you're looking for now. And as much as 9th house represents luck, it shows that you are bringing luck to your spouse. You will bring more luck to your spouse in this case. And obviously, because 9th house represents law, implementation of the law, 7th house represents courthouses, shows somebody definitely can be a lawyer with this. 9th Lord in the 1st, 6th, 7th, and 10th can represent one of the most common positions I've seen people with a law degree. Actually, I just did a horoscope, last night, of somebody who is a lawyer and had that 9th Lord in the 7th house. So they were into law field. They were just doing like, what is that? Intellectual property law, business patents and all that. So this is a very common position for that. Now, one thing you got to realize is that for certain ascendants, this can become a position of obstruction and obstacles. This can present like a Bhaddakesh position. Bhaddakesh position are very fine-tuned position. Most of the time, they don't do anything. But when they do the biggest damage. Like when 9th Lord is in the 7th house shows, a person will not be able to use their higher education to make a living. Their higher education will be converted into a business. So in a way, it's a win and win situation. Sure, you can get your post-grad degree, but you may not use it. But the win part is you get to have your own business because you're interacting with other people. You are the only place where this can really be of a useful thing. This placement is a legal field, law and MBAs. Otherwise, this position really shows, especially in a Bhaddakesh position, all the mutable signs, where 9th Lord goes into the 7th house can show through marriage, through business partnership, you kind of left your education because, hey, you were making a lot of money. But depending upon what planet goes into the 7th house from the 9th house can differentiate all these things. So obviously we got to discuss that. So let's say if Sun controls your 9th house and Sun goes into the 7th house, what this shows is that you are bringing beliefs of your father into the marriage, into meeting other people. The way you meet other people and the way you interact with them is exactly how your father did it. Whether it's through DNA or whether it's through you watching his behavior. Shows you bring a lot of religious, spiritual ego within the marriage. Here, Sun can actually show that you are very proud of your heritage. You are very proud of being a Hindu, Muslim, Jew, or Christian. And now, whoever you marry, you say, well, my religion is the best. My spiritual beliefs is the best. So you need to follow that. And this is where the trouble comes into play. And the thing is, these kind of people have this ego about communicating. You will always try to communicate with your spouse and have an argument with them. That, hey, look at this religion, look at this religion, look at my religion. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, all religions are complete scams, but again, this is something that you bring. Let's say if Moon controls your 9th house, Moon goes into the 7th house. What this shows is that you get a spouse or you have a partnership with a spouse that is emotionally connected and emotionally bonded with a higher philosophical belief. Here you're able to cooperate. Your minds are in tune with your spouse. You're able to discuss and travel aboard and have a very much of a mutual agreement with a spouse. You get a spouse who is highly intellectual, highly spiritual, and at the same time very motherly. Because that's what Moon is. And when its Moon is at its highest dignity, especially the first 5 degrees, Moon is going to bring the best position to the table. Your peace of mind comes into play whenever you're with your spouse. You love the idea of marriage. Your higher philosophical beliefs, the purpose of your life is really activated when you get married. Your spouse shows you your way. Let's say if Mercury controls your 9th house, goes into the 7th house, and definitely shows somebody who can be a lawyer, because Mercury is speech, communication, business, analytical and logical thinking, everything that is required to be a lawyer. In the 7th house of courthouses, your speech is very aggressive, whether it's with other people or spouses. You are to the point. Sometimes you're too impulsive when you talk. You can say things that you may not mean. And in that, sure, you may be able to get in trouble with your spouse. There will be a lot of heated arguments. But at the same time, this is a really beneficial position for somebody to be in a legal profession. Somebody to be in a profession of, a law, business, dealing with numbers, accounting. Let's say if Venus controls the 9th house. Venus goes into the 7th house. Well, what this shows is that you will get a spouse who will be in immense love with traveling. Your spouse would love to express yourself and their self creatively through experiencing different culture, people of different background, traveling to different places and having a romantic experience there. You actually meet a spouse who comes from foreign lands to you, because 9th house is now coming to the 7th house. You either bring a foreign experience to your spouse, or your spouse brings a foreign experience. And here spouse is very much creative, and through that you are able to express yourself to the world creatively through your spouse. Because after marriage, your spouse will be able to teach you the better side of life. So it's a very good position. Let's say if Mars controls your 9th house, Mars goes into the 7th house. This can show up very much of a power struggle with your spouse regarding their belief. Your spouse is not you, actually. It's not even your spouse now. It's you. It might be your fault. It is your absolute hardcore belief of your philosophy, spirituality, and religion that can bring a lot of heated and even physically heated arguments and fights with your spouse. You may get into arguments with other people regarding your spiritual belief. You are one of those lawyers who will not take no for an answer. You will do whatever it takes to win the court case. You are extremely aggressive in pushing your law and your agenda upon other people. So these people can actually become really great engineers, really great lawyers, really great businessmen, but at the same time, they can become really aggressive spiritual dictators. They say, it's this way and nothing at all. I don't even want to hear what you have to say to me. So these people really have to back up their belief system and keep quiet. Let the other person have their freedom. Do not marry somebody, for these people, and I've seen this over and over again, whenever Mars goes into the 7th house, these people should not marry anyone who does not believe in their same system, who do not have the same level of aggressiveness in their system. So if you're just in romantic love with a Christian girl while you are a Hindu, please do not, unless you know that she will be able to live by your belief. If she does, go for it. If she doesn't, after marriage, it'll create a lot of problem. Let's say if Jupiter controls your 9th house, Jupiter goes into the 7th house, shows you may either bring very philosophical, and highly spiritual beliefs into the marriage, and through your marriage, you will be able to experience the most spiritual bliss in your life, or you will bring your nonsensical beliefs in a marriage where the marriage will just fall apart. You may actually, as a woman, you may actually get involved with a husband who might actually be a complete dictator when it comes to religious beliefs. Might be an alcoholic in the front, it might be a very good person in the front and alcoholic in the back. Like after marriage, you find out, oh my God, who did I marry? You know, this person was so good and now they turn out to be this businessman who's a complete scammer, and they drink alcohol, they gamble. What did I just marry? So you have to be careful. But Jupiter here will either bring a highly educated, highly spiritual, and a very guru-like spouse, or you yourself are becoming the guru to your spouse, or you are bringing the completely wrong belief system in your marriage. And these people especially should marry after the age of 37, 36, when they really know who they are. Because if a Jupiter is debilitated here, you do not really know your true philosophical beliefs after Jupiter matures, which is after the age of 36. Let's say Saturn comes in, Saturn rules the 9th house, goes into the 7th house. Again, you want to be careful. Saturn is a very strict planet, very rule-oriented planet. It's a planet that wants to follow and compartmentalize everything. You will kind of be like that negative side of Jupiter with the Saturn. Saturn may bring laws and restriction into the marriage. You're saying to your spouse, you cannot go here, you cannot do this, you cannot do this. You have these certain boundaries that you have to live by. And these people strictly needs to get married after the age of 36. Only after that they will be able to loosen up on their rules and regulations. Here, Saturn definitely can make somebody a judge in a court, because Saturn is a judge. 9th house is law, 7th house is court. Do the math. Judges can be seen from this. they always want to marry somebody much younger than themselves. Because remember, now your Saturn is coming to the 7th house. So these people are very old in age, and you want to marry somebody extremely young, 7, 8 years old, younger than you. Or you end up marrying somebody extremely older than you, who brings a lot of higher beliefs in the marriage, who brings a lot of restriction in the marriage. So remember, it can go either way. But what happens is that the marriage feels like some sort of a restriction. Whether you will bring the restriction, most likely, because 9th Lord is coming to the 7th house. It's your belief system coming to the 7th house, not 7th house going into the 9th house. But either it's going to be you being restricted or feeling restricted, or the other person will feel restricted. You may feel restricted like, oh my God, I married somebody who does not want to follow what I do, doesn't want to like what I do, you know. Or you will feel that I cannot believe that this person is putting so much stuff on me to do. And all of these things can break marriages apart. So this is a very delicate position. You know, as much as this is a Raj Yoga position, 9th Lord, Kendra, Trikona and Kendra is a Raj Yoga. But this Raj Yoga is very beneficial in business and legal purposes. And it's a fine line where you will see, hey, will you benefit from your spouse or not? That's where you have to see other dignitaries, like aspects, conjunctions, their placements in Namansha. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of 9th Lord in the 7th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your 9th Lord is placed and where your other planetary lords are, for that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, which you will get through all my free astrology books. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.